Question 1. What is the first step a law enforcement officer should take when arriving at the scene of a crime? A. Secure the perimeter. B. Administer first aid to victims. C. Conduct interviews with witnesses. D. Assess the situation for potential threats. Correct answer. D. Assess the situation for potential threats. Explanation. When arriving at the scene of a crime, the first step for a law enforcement officer is to assess the situation for potential threats to ensure the safety of themselves and others present. Question 2. In Florida, what is the legal standard for law enforcement officers to use deadly force? A. When facing any level of resistance. B. When the suspect poses an imminent threat of death or serious bodily harm. C. When attempting to apprehend a suspect regardless of the circumstances. D. When instructed by a superior officer to do so. Correct answer. B. When the suspect poses an imminent threat of death or serious bodily harm. Explanation. In Florida, law enforcement officers are authorized to use deadly force only when facing a suspect who poses an imminent threat of death or serious bodily harm to themselves or others. Question 3. Mr. Rodriguez, a law enforcement officer, receives a report of a missing child in his patrol area. What should be his immediate course of action? A. Wait for backup before initiating any search efforts. B. Begin searching nearby areas and notify dispatch of the situation. C. Contact the child's family to gather more information. D. Continue with routine patrol duties until further instructions are received. Correct answer. B. Begin searching nearby areas and notify dispatch of the situation. Explanation. When responding to a report of a missing child, a law enforcement officer should immediately begin searching nearby areas and notify dispatch to coordinate search efforts and gather necessary resources. Question 4. Which of the following actions violates ethical standards for law enforcement officers? A. Offering assistance to a victim of a crime. B. Accepting gifts or gratuities from individuals with pending criminal charges. C. Reporting misconduct observed among fellow officers. D. Refusing to enforce laws perceived as unjust. Correct answer. B. Accepting gifts or gratuities from individuals with pending criminal charges. Explanation. Accepting gifts or gratuities from individuals with pending criminal charges violates ethical standards for law enforcement officers as it can compromise impartiality and integrity. Question 5. What is the primary goal of community-oriented policing? A. Increasing the number of arrests made by law enforcement officers. B. Fostering positive relationships between law enforcement agencies and the community. C. Decreasing the amount of time spent on patrol duties. D. Exercising strict control over community members. Correct answer. B. Fostering positive relationships between law enforcement agencies and the community. Explanation. The primary goal of community-oriented policing is to foster positive relationships between law enforcement agencies and the community, leading to increased trust, cooperation, and collaboration in addressing crime and public safety issues. Question 6. During a natural disaster, what role do law enforcement agencies typically play in emergency response efforts? A. Providing medical treatment to victims. B. Assisting with search and rescue operations. C. Conducting damage assessments and issuing permits for repairs. D. Distributing emergency supplies and resources to affected areas. Correct answer. B. Assisting with search and rescue operations. Explanation. Law enforcement agencies typically play a vital role in emergency response efforts by assisting with search and rescue operations, maintaining public safety, and coordinating resources and assistance to affected areas. Question 7. Why is accurate and detailed report writing important for law enforcement officers? A. To embellish the details of incidents for dramatic effect. B. To justify the use of force in confrontational situations. C. To provide an accurate record of events for legal and administrative purposes. D. To minimize the severity of offenses committed by suspects. Correct answer. C. To provide an accurate record of events for legal and administrative purposes. Explanation. Accurate and detailed report writing is important for law enforcement officers to provide an accurate record of events for legal and administrative purposes, including investigations, court proceedings, and departmental reviews. Question 8. In a situation where a suspect becomes physically aggressive, what defensive tactics should a law enforcement officer employ first? A. Use of pepper spray. B. Verbal de-escalation techniques. C. Issuing warnings and commands. D. Engaging in hand-to-hand combat. Correct answer. B. Verbal de-escalation techniques. Explanation. When faced with a physically aggressive suspect, law enforcement officers should first attempt to de-escalate the situation using verbal techniques to calm the individual and reduce the need for physical force. Question 9. How should law enforcement officers adapt their communication style when interacting with individuals from diverse cultural backgrounds? A. Speak louder to ensure understanding. B. Use slang and informal language to establish rapport. C. Demonstrate respect and sensitivity to cultural differences. D. Avoid making eye contact to show deference. Correct answer. C. Demonstrate respect and sensitivity to cultural differences. Explanation. Law enforcement officers should adapt their communication style by demonstrating respect and sensitivity to cultural differences, avoiding stereotypes, and using appropriate language and gestures to foster mutual understanding and respect. Question 10. Under Florida state law, what is required for a lawful arrest to occur? A. Probable cause. B. Reasonable suspicion. C. Clear and convincing evidence. D. Written consent from the suspect. Correct answer. A. Probable cause. Explanation. Under Florida state law, a lawful arrest requires probable cause, which means that law enforcement officers must have sufficient facts and circumstances to believe that a crime has been committed and that the individual to be arrested is responsible for the crime. Question 11. When encountering a person in emotional distress, what approach should law enforcement officers take to effectively de-escalate the situation? A. Ignoring the person's emotions and focusing on the facts. B. Showing empathy and actively listening to the person's concerns. C. Using aggressive tactics to assert authority and control. D. Minimizing the severity of the person's emotions to avoid confrontation. Correct answer. B. Showing empathy and actively listening to the person's concerns. Explanation. When encountering a person in emotional distress, law enforcement officers should show empathy, actively listen to the person's concerns, and demonstrate a willingness to understand their perspective in order to de-escalate the situation and prevent further escalation. Question 12. How can law enforcement agencies build trust and cooperation with immigrant communities? A. By conducting frequent immigration raids to demonstrate authority. B. By collaborating with community organizations and leaders. C. By avoiding interactions with immigrant populations altogether. D. By implementing discriminatory practices to discourage immigration. Correct answer. B. By collaborating with community organizations and leaders. Explanation. Law enforcement agencies can build trust and cooperation with immigrant communities by collaborating with community organizations and leaders, providing culturally competent services, and addressing the specific needs and concerns of immigrant populations. Question 13. In the event of a terrorist attack, What role do law enforcement agencies play in coordinating response efforts? A. Providing medical treatment to victims. B. Conducting forensic investigations after the attack. C. Coordinating with other agencies to secure the scene and apprehend suspects. D. Offering counseling services to affected individuals and families. Correct answer. C. Coordinating with other agencies to secure the scene and apprehend suspects. Explanation. In the event of a terrorist attack, law enforcement agencies play a crucial role in coordinating response efforts, including securing the scene, apprehending suspects, and collaborating with other agencies to mitigate the impact of the attack and prevent further harm. Question 14. How do body-worn cameras benefit law enforcement agencies? A. By providing real-time surveillance of citizens. B. By reducing transparency and accountability. C. By capturing evidence and enhancing officer safety. D. By infringing on individual privacy rights. Correct answer. C. By capturing evidence and enhancing officer safety. Explanation. Body-worn cameras benefit law enforcement agencies by capturing evidence, increasing transparency, enhancing officer safety, and improving accountability in interactions with the public. Question 15. How might Florida's coastal geography impact law enforcement operations? A. By creating harsh winters and extreme temperatures. B. By increasing the risk of flooding and coastal erosion. C. By limiting access to remote areas for criminal activities. D. By posing challenges for urban policing strategies. Correct answer. B. By increasing the risk of flooding and coastal erosion. Explanation. Florida's coastal geography poses challenges for law enforcement operations by increasing the risk of flooding, coastal erosion, and other environmental hazards that may impact public safety and emergency response efforts. Question 16. Which approach is most effective for addressing substance abuse within communities? A. Implementing punitive measures to deter drug use. B. Focusing solely on enforcement efforts. C. Adopting a comprehensive approach involving prevention, treatment, and enforcement. D. Ignoring substance abuse as a law enforcement issue. Correct answer. C. Adopting a comprehensive approach involving prevention, treatment, and enforcement. Explanation. Addressing substance abuse within communities requires a comprehensive approach involving prevention, treatment, and enforcement efforts to address the root causes of drug addiction, reduce demand, and disrupt supply chains. Question 17. What is the primary purpose of conducting a traffic accident investigation? A. Assigning blame and determining fault. B. Issuing citations to drivers involved in the accident. C. Identifying factors contributing to the accident and preventing future occurrences. D. Clearing the roadway as quickly as possible. Correct answer. C. Identifying factors contributing to the accident and preventing future occurrences. Explanation. The primary purpose of conducting a traffic accident investigation is to identify factors contributing to the accident, such as road conditions, driver behavior, and environmental factors, in order to prevent future occurrences and improve roadway safety. Question 18. According to Florida law, who is prohibited from possessing firearms? A. Law enforcement officers. B. Individuals convicted of certain felonies. C. Licensed firearms dealers. D. Active duty military personnel. Correct answer. B. Individuals convicted of certain felonies. Explanation. Florida law prohibits individuals convicted of certain felonies from possessing firearms as part of efforts to prevent firearm-related violence and ensure public safety. Question 19. Under Florida state law, what is the legal standard for determining the admissibility of evidence obtained through a search? A. Beyond a reasonable doubt. B. Clear and convincing evidence. C. Preponderance of the evidence. D. Probable cause. Correct answer: D. Probable cause. Explanation: under Florida state law, the legal standard for determining the admissibility of evidence obtained through a search is probable cause, which requires sufficient facts and circumstances to believe that a crime has been committed or that evidence of a crime exists. Question 20. In Florida, what is the minimum age requirement to be tried as an adult for criminal offenses? A. 16 years old. B. 17 years old. C. 18 years old. D. 21 years old. Correct answer: C. 18 years old. Explanation: in Florida, individuals must be at least 18 years old to be tried as adults for criminal offenses, although certain exceptions may apply depending on the nature of the offense and the individual's criminal history. Question 21. What is the purpose of conducting a lineup or photo array in a criminal investigation? A. To provide suspects with an opportunity to confess. B. To intimidate witnesses into identifying a specific suspect. C. To present a group of individuals to a witness for identification purposes. D. To coerce witnesses into making false identifications. Correct answer: C. To present a group of individuals to a witness for identification purposes. Explanation: the purpose of conducting a lineup or photo array in a criminal investigation is to present a group of individuals, including the suspect and fillers, to a witness for identification purposes, allowing the witness to identify the perpetrator if possible. Question 22. Which of the following factors may influence an officer's decision to use deadly force? A. Race or ethnicity of the suspect. B. Gender of the suspect. C. Severity of the threat posed by the suspect. D. Political affiliation of the suspect. Correct answer: C. Severity of the threat posed by the suspect. Explanation: an officer's decision to use deadly force should be based on the severity of the threat posed by the suspect, such as the imminent risk of death or serious bodily harm to themselves or others, rather than irrelevant factors such as race, gender, or political affiliation. Question 23. Which de-escalation technique involves actively listening to a person in crisis and acknowledging their feelings and concerns? A. Assertive communication. B. Tactical withdrawal. C. Active engagement. D. Crisis negotiation. Correct answer: D. Crisis negotiation. Explanation: crisis negotiation involves actively listening to a person in crisis, acknowledging their feelings and concerns, and attempting to establish rapport and trust in order to peacefully resolve the situation without the need for physical force. Question 24. What is the Incident Command System, ICS, used for in emergency response situations? A. To assign blame and responsibility for the incident. B. To coordinate and manage response efforts in a structured manner. C. To prioritize the needs of certain individuals or groups. D. To maintain secrecy and restrict access to information. Correct answer: B. To coordinate and manage response efforts in a structured manner. Explanation: the Incident Command System, ICS, is used in emergency response situations to coordinate and manage response efforts in a structured and organized manner, ensuring effective communication, resource allocation, and incident management. Question 25. Which ethical principle requires law enforcement officers to act consistently with the public trust and confidence placed in them? A. Integrity. B. Loyalty. C. Discretion. D. Impartiality. Correct answer: A. Integrity. Explanation: integrity is an ethical principle that requires law enforcement officers to act consistently with the public trust and confidence placed in them, maintaining honesty, transparency, and moral uprightness in their conduct. Question 26. Why is it important for law enforcement officers to maintain accurate and detailed records of their activities? A. To impress supervisors and colleagues. B. To comply with departmental policies and procedures. C. To avoid accountability and scrutiny. D. To create fictional narratives for entertainment purposes. Correct answer. B. To comply with departmental policies and procedures. Explanation. Law enforcement officers are required to maintain accurate and detailed records of their activities to comply with departmental policies and procedures, ensure accountability, document evidence, and support legal proceedings. Question 27. Which defensive tactic is designed to control and restrain non-compliant or aggressive individuals? A. Pepper spray. B. Handcuffing. C. Baton strikes. D. Firearms. Correct answer. B. Handcuffing. Explanation. Handcuffing is a defensive tactic commonly used by law enforcement officers to control and restrain non-compliant or aggressive individuals while minimizing the risk of injury to both parties. Question 28. How can law enforcement officers enhance their situational awareness during high-stress situations? A. By focusing solely on their immediate surroundings. B. By ignoring potential threats and dangers. C. By relying on intuition rather than evidence. D. By continuously scanning the environment and assessing potential risks. Correct answer. D. By continuously scanning the environment and assessing potential risks. Explanation. Law enforcement officers can enhance their situational awareness during high-stress situations by continuously scanning the environment, assessing potential risks, and gathering relevant information to inform their decision-making processes. Question 29. When communicating with individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing, what accommodation should law enforcement officers provide? A. Speaking loudly to ensure understanding. B. Using complex language to convey information. C. Providing written or visual communication alternatives. D. Ignoring the individual's communication preferences. Correct answer. C. Providing written or visual communication alternatives. Explanation. When communicating with individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing, law enforcement officers should provide written or visual communication alternatives, such as writing notes or using sign language interpreters, to ensure effective communication and facilitate understanding. Question 30. How do computer-aided dispatch (CAD) systems benefit law enforcement agencies? A. By limiting access to critical information. B. By slowing down response times to emergencies. C. By providing real-time information and resource allocation. D. By increasing administrative workload for officers. Correct answer. C. By providing real-time information and resource allocation. Explanation. Computer-aided dispatch (CAD) systems benefit law enforcement agencies by providing real-time information, efficient resource allocation, and enhanced communication among dispatchers, officers, and other emergency responders, resulting in improved response times and effective incident management.